small businesses that aren't allowed to open right now or allowed to open up to a capacity that they're making money and they can afford their rent, but especially the ones that aren't even allowed to open and have huge rents on their spaces. Music venues, bars. My closest city is New Orleans, and bars are still not allowed to open, and music venues. You have just generations of musicians, artists, people that are struggling, and they want to give their talent. They want to people to hear them, and they don't have an outlet for that right now. In the city, they're not even creating any outdoor events or anything. Uh, I think that it's to the point of where bar owners and small business owners that aren't allowed to open, they're gonna have to stick together and just open and like ignore any fines. They need to stick together, ignore any fines by the city. I mean, honestly, they should be able to sue the city and the federal government for keeping everything shut down like this. Uh, but it's getting to the point of where things aren't going to be able to come back if they don't do this. Police are going to have to ignore mandates to close down these businesses, and so is the military. And this is a part where people are wondering, like, man, would the military turn on us? Would our own police turn on us? And I know that this is a sore subject right now, but this is one of those times where you need to not follow orders if you're given an order to shut down a business, or if they're peacefully operating, because this is just it's really gotten out of control. Uh, I People are getting sick from something. People are. I do know that there's something going on. I know everyone's got their theories about what it is. There have been uh, reports that these tests they include everything from the common cold to the SARS-2 virus. So someone that's got a common cold could test positive for this. I really do think it is as it spreads like it's as common as the flu. So you can only be so careful. I mean, be careful like you normally are. But if you're living in fear, if you're stressed, if your immune system's down, if you haven't been eating right, if you haven't been exercising, if you're sad, you're going to be more susceptible of getting sick. And sometimes getting sick is, uh, your body's way of saying it needs a rest or it needs time to detox and cleanse. And so you have to sleep and drink fluids until that's over. Um, I think that the reaction is worse than the risk at this point. I know some cities, I hear that they've reached the point of no return, like San Francisco. Uh, if if these businesses don't open, there's lots of just venues that I used to love to see live music. Uh, just DJs to go dancing or whatever. A bar, just to go and visit your friends at. Uh, and there's probably other types of businesses that aren't open or they don't feel ready to open yet. They also feel like they're getting bullied, and they know half the public thinks like, oh, you're evil if you open. You don't care about people getting sick, or that's what they're getting pressure from two different ways, and they're like, I don't want my clients to think that I'm being selfish for opening my business, yet your business isn't going to survive, and if you don't open it. And I think that there's a point where there are people in even some of these. I mean, I'm noticing even my friends that are considered far left, or believe everything that comes on CNN and what the those statistics and everything, and they don't think that those can be fudged or by paid off doctors or anything like that. People that just believe everything, and they think we should be wearing the mask, and they get off on virtue signaling, or think, oh, I'm helping by wearing this mask and staying at home. a lot of those people I can see are starting to say things like, I want to move out to the country, and stuff that we like, other of us have already realized. I mean, I used to consider myself far left because, I would be for, peace and not war and things like that. And helping, I wanted to help the public in the right way and not systems that trap people. But later on, I learned, of course, how corrupt everything is, right or left, and that's just a paradigm there to separate us. So some of my friends I didn't even want to talk to about this because I knew that they're probably like, oh, you should be, staying in, quarantining and wearing a mask and not living your life and not doing anything. Like some of them are starting to even post stuff like save our stages and post stuff like these are typically people that care about music, care about live venues and artists. And they're getting screwed too. So people are kind of starting to realize that this is a double-edged sword. And I think people are starting to move out to the country in the middle of America. It looks like a lot of people are moving to Texas. So there are people that are going to start doing their own thing no matter what. These are people that are like like probably wearing the mask in the car type people, or saying in there, hey, I'm going to move out to the country, because they don't want to live like that either. Like they're just doing it because they think they're helping stop the spread of this. But I mean, honestly, it's our perspective, and nobody wants to live like they're having us live. So unless we stick together and support the small businesses, and the small businesses refuse to pay any fines, and we need the cops or the police to not penalize them or try to shut them down if they're operating peacefully, and the same thing if they try to bring in the military or anything like that. You need to stand up for the people, because I live in a rich cultural city. There's a lot of people there. There's people coming in town. They want to see the city, and they're like, why isn't anything open? Of course, they want bars to be open in New Orleans, but they're, I'm just like, well, it's COVID. They're not. We're still in phase 2, and even though there are still people that are sick and in the hospital, but they're not that many. They're not that many dying anymore. They know how to treat it, and it's really about as common as I see people catching a common cold or the flu now. From my standpoint of people I know, I don't want anybody to get sick. I think my family had it in December before they knew what it was, or before they were saying what it was. And I had a family member that was in the hospital, and it was very scary. But we got through it, and I think that it looks like the people that are dying from it have other underlying issues. We need to just make sure they're safe, and we get them what they need if they don't want to if they don't want to go out. But a lot of times, even these people, they want to connect with other people. If they're elderly, or they like not connecting with other people, that's going to make people sick. I mean, that we need each other, and like isolating even the weakest among us. I don't know if that's the best idea, but anyway, if anybody wants to, they feel uncomfortable going to the store, or we need to make sure these people have what they need, and everybody else needs to start supporting the businesses again and going out, or this is gonna die. And I mean, maybe it has to, maybe our economy has to go a different way, or people start need to be going underground and start homesteading. And I mean, that's what I've been thinking this, but it's because it's pushing people to that way, because people just don't want to like stay in their cities when they don't have anything to do and they can't relate to other people. So this is my opinion and thoughts on this. You can let me know what you think, but I recently, this past weekend, I was in New Orleans doing some work in the French Quarter, and there are a lot of people there trying to tour the city. I know that people still want to see the cultural meccas of the world, or the cultural spots of the cities, and it's kind of sad see things, to let things die like this, and we're just like bowing down to what the government's telling us to do, and I really don't think it's what's best for us at all. But I am actually happy. I hope more people get land, good people, and then they share their resources and space with their friends and other people they trust in their communities, because that's how we can get stronger, is building networks ourselves. So I mean, if there's any good that comes out of it, I hope that happens. But I really like to see the small businesses open back up, because there has been a wealth transfer. You can even see in the stock market how Amazon, Walmart, Costco, even Microsoft, Apple, like all these huge companies that also got help from the government, like millions and millions and like so much money help from this for this pandemic, where the small businesses barely got enough to keep going, especially the ones that had the high rent. That's why so many had to close in San Francisco. And it was just a wealth transfer, like their stocks. If you have stock in any of these companies, that hey, that went up, but like the small businesses lost 30%, while the big ones gained, and 22% of the small businesses just closed down. So this is it. I think it's do or die. Like I support you if you're a small business and you just want to open up, and I support you completely. And I think that you guys should maybe get a coalition and stick together, the small businesses, and not, if you get fined or any BS from your local government or state or federal government to shut down, I think this needs to be ignored. And we need to keep going if we want to keep the current system going and not turn into like these drony having to buy stuff from Walmart and Costco all the time, or waiting for the soup kitchen to start up because we're all broke. Or like the last thing I want to say is another thing I think they're doing with the unemployment, because a lot of these gig workers, people that would be waiters and waitresses or bartenders, other types of workers, people that work in the convention center. There's so many businesses that have shut down, but some of them are able to get really, really good unemployment, where they're doing, just as good or even better than they were. And so they don't even want to go back to work. So a lot of these businesses that are trying to start back up, they can't find workers. And so that's another thing. But I think anybody who wants to go out there and work and help and spend some money, spend some time with other people, I think you should do it. I think, and you shouldn't care about what people think, and you shouldn't, if there's a couple of self-righteous people that are like, oh, you're not being safe for the community because you're opening up, I think you need to just like not worry about them, because I think there's more people, and a lot of those people, they want to go out more than they're, especially the ones that are like whiny and like really super like, just brag. You're like, I wear my mask all the time, and this isn't like, they want the attention more than anybody. They want people to see them. They want to go out. So you're probably going to see some of those people out. They might be wearing a mask at your place, and I don't know, sticking a straw through it, trying if they're having a drink. Yeah, I think you should just open anyway and not worry about it. Because I mean, the laws are BS. The mask thing, but the restaurant, I mean, you can take it off when you're eating, and then you have to put it back on. So you're eating on your plate. The waitress has to grab your plate that you just ate off of and like walk it through the restaurant. I mean, if you're really thinking about the virus spreading that way, it's not going to work. Viruses can get through microparticles of masks if they need to. If you're wearing it a long time and there's moisture forming, you're even more likely to catch something. So I don't think that this is a full science. Doctors and surgeons and nurses and those people, they're constantly changing out their masks. They're not in a damp environment. They're not like riding their bike with their mask on, or yeah, like some of these people. So I don't know. Think about this a little bit more. You know, the people that are really into following these orders, because I definitely think it's hurting more than helping. This is my opinion on this issue. I'd love to hear what other people think. Thank you for watching this. This is Moon with Unraveling the Matrix, and hopefully I will see you some more.